Got the old work truck here, and there's something that's been going through my mind, trying to improve things like, well, like a normal person, I think. I thought about it. I always thought about the return line on the fuel pump. Fuel comes in. If you're cruising around town driving, street vehicle, not a drag car, obviously. Well, the fuel comes to the pump, pulls heat, goes back to the tank. It's a vicious cycle of warming up the tank. So, the longer you drive, the warmer the tank, or the fuel in the tank gets. So I thought about putting a cooler in line in the return system. So that way at least try to not get the fuel cooler, but to keep it from getting hotter. Basically try to keep it the same temperature that it was in the tank to begin with before you start driving it. That's really my goal here. So I'm going to take it on a test drive, check a few things, and then install the cooler and drive it again and see what happens. So let's get in it and drive it. So I'm back. Obviously the GoPro fell off on the way back here. So one thing I want to measure while I'm here, measure that right there, which is not too bad. I don't know how much of a difference this will make, but we're going to try, if it makes any difference. Alright. Check here. Decently toasty. Okay. See if I can check that. Alright. Alright, now see if I can get the line in. and the return. Okay, there we go. Alright, so to do a fair before and after, I felt like I needed to wait for this thing to cool down, let the fuel pump, all fuel and everything get back down to the basically not running temperature, setting. Do it again, good before and after, you know. Of course it's raining. And you probably saw the GoPro fell off. So it did take all the temperature readings, obviously, when I got back. So now I know everything's at. So once it kind of dries off for a minute or stops raining, I know what the temperature was when I took off. Temperature should be the same, if not a little bit warmer, because Arkansas, this thing can cool it down. Put it back on, try it again, hopefully today. It does look like it's clearing up already. The sun's coming out. Should have a long enough break to do the same drive. Now, I may have got distracted during the drive, but I didn't get to do anything because could never catch a light, you know, and figured on the highway, you know, it would have, you know, got over, let them line up, and nope, just he hit the gas and took off. So I'm like, all right, I'm not chasing you. So, oh well. Not that I'd do anything like that or anything. So, but I'm gonna let the rain settle, come back, and get the return line fuel cooler on. So, all right, so it's on right there. It's kind of crude because, you know, two different hose size return to normal size. So use some brass fittings that go to 3/8 and back. Moved everything around. So it's a couple of degrees, I think it's 2 or 3 degrees warmer now because it's a little bit later, even though it rained. So that being said, I've already checked for leaks and it's time to drive it. Alright, made it back without the GoPro falling off this time. Oh. Let's see. A little warmer. Unfortunately. check where it really matters, because it is warmer. So, alright, so going in is right there at about 99. Leaving is 90. So the fuel going in and the fuel going out. There it is. Unfortunately, the temperature has raised outside by 8 to 9 degrees since the first test. So that's going to throw the results off a little bit. Obviously the cooler is doing its job as a cooler is what's made to do. It's not leaking. Not going to take it off. Obviously the tank was warmer, but it's also warmer outside. There's plenty of sunlight beating down on the truck. That's going to be hard to get rid of. The whole point of this was just to try and see if this would work on a street vehicle. Obviously a race car that just goes down drag strip and gets pulled back or basically just lives on the strip ain't going to matter. This is more trying to see what would happen on a street vehicle. It's got a return line from the fuel pump, because when you're sitting there in traffic, you're not using all your fuels. A lot of it's going through a return line, gets hot at the pump, goes back, warms up the fuel in the tank, and it's a constant cycle, especially when you're not going very fast. That's why it's all in town. So obviously the cooler is working up here. I did think about putting a larger cooler in the back to begin with, but I figured at lights and slower speeds when there's not a lot of airflow with the exhaust, it radiates heat, and that would probably cause it to heat up before the tank. So this little loop right up here up front is away from most heat sources. So hopefully it makes a little bit of a difference. I'm not expecting big gains. Like I said, I was not expecting to make the fuel ice cold. No, I'm just trying to prevent it from getting as warm. I don't want it to get hot. I want to keep it closer to where it is when it's in the tank and you first start it up. That's really the goal for me. And if it helps with fuel economy a little bit, especially in this day and age, that's a bonus. So I didn't do a fuel economy test because even though I did a 45-minute drive, didn't hardly use any gas either way. So I kept the speed limits, just cruised it for the most part, and that's that. But also, you never know until you try. So I tried it. Seems okay. That's the biggest, one of the bigger ones I could fit on there. Sure, if I put a bigger cooler on there, found a way to fit one, or tried a little bit harder and make a bigger difference, but that's fine. I hope you enjoyed this episode. As always, thanks for watching.